In February, President Obama announced that the United States and NATO would begin an early drawdown of troops in Afghanistan. More than half of the 66,000 troops there will be going home in 2013. Luis Ramirez is VOA's Pentagon correspondent and has been in Afghanistan recently with the U.S. military. Alex Villarreal talked with him about the situation in Afghanistan now and how events have led to this point. Let's take a look.
So originally, when the U.S. led this invasion of Afghanistan, the original goals that were set out, how does the current situation stand up against those?
The initial goal was to go in and take out al-Qaeda and then to remove the Taliban from power. Those two goals were achieved, followed by the effort to secure the country, to make it stable, to allow conditions for a democratic government, which has happened.
So the current plan is to have all foreign combat troops withdraw from the country by the end of next year. How ready is the Afghan army to take control of all security?
Well, if you ask the U.S. commanders, they believe they're well on their way. They are aware that some challenges remain. We've had a number of insider attacks that have gotten lots of publicity. But there are also, the stories of a good percentage of the country already in the hands of the Afghan National Security Forces.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, who was in Afghanistan, says U.S. forces will be there as a backup.
What you'll see this summer is that the Afghans will be tested, the Afghan security forces will be tested. We'll be there with them, and that's as much a physical support as it is kind of psychological support.
The troop reduction will be gradual, allowing a sufficient number of U.S. soldiers to be on hand to provide that support.
Now, what about this notion expressed in your piece that the Taliban is just waiting in the wings, waiting for foreign troops to withdraw, and will then re-enter into these territories that it once held control of and try to retake them again? How has the Pentagon responded to those concerns?
They're absolutely aware of the threat that exists.
That future depends on a number of unresolved questions. The 2013 fighting season is approaching, and it will be a test for the newly trained Afghan forces who will be at the forefront for the first time. Also in question is the number of U.S. troops that would remain to advise and assist Afghanistan beyond 2014, and the outcome of elections also next year to determine who will replace longtime Afghan president and U.S. ally Hamid Karzai.
And what about the role of Pakistan in all of this? Because you talk about the concerns that Afghanistan become a safe haven for al-Qaeda, but there are now complaints that Pakistan is doing the same thing.
Well, certainly there have been very loud, clear complaints on the part of the United States about Pakistan's harboring of groups such as the Haqqani network. But at the same time, U.S. commanders in Afghanistan are in constant communication now with their Pakistani counterparts, and there is great hope that relations will not only stay good but improve and allow for Pakistan to assume a greater role in the stabilization of Afghanistan.
So, Luis, you were recently in Afghanistan traveling with the Defense Secretary. Now, being there on the ground and at these bases, you're able to talk to some members of the military who have been there for a while. What do they tell you? What's the mood like right there now on the ground?
Well, certainly, yeah, it depends on the mood of the person. It depends on the person who you're talking to. You get everything from the, young soldier who is ready to come home. But you also get a sense that people don't want to leave before the job is done.
Now, when you talk about this conflict and successes, how exactly does the Pentagon define its successes?
Well, the Pentagon is very consistent in saying that progress is being made. The outgoing commander of ISAF, General John Allen, said, victory is coming.
Frankly, looking back on that day in July 2011, 19 months ago, I did not have the sense of optimism that I have now that I stand here, as I stand here before you today. The optimism and the very real sense of knowing that we will be victorious.
The way he put it, though, is he said it's not a victory that will come with parades and with a declared moment. It will come gradually. It will come as you see stability returning and being maintained in the country.
Our VOA Pentagon correspondent Luis Ramirez talking with my co-host Alex Villarreal.